So now we have Karl here. He's been in the videos occasionally. He plays a lot of RPGs, and recently he thought he gave up on FPS games and quit them entirely until he was introduced to the finals. He's a relatively new player to the game. He started in season 3, played for about a week or two, but then disappeared for a while, returning briefly midway into season 4 for about 2 to 3 weeks again, and he was on and off periodically. But now, halfway through season 5, he's been playing for basically every day, practically every day, for the past 20-ish days, I'll say, give or take. So he will have an interesting perspective on some aspects of the game, I feel like. That being said, do you have anything you want to add to Good Sub before we get started?
Nope.
Well, so let's get straight into the questions. Questions, I like that. Question numero uno. What stopped you from playing more consistently before season 5?
I would say it's a mix of feeling overwhelmed after not playing FPS games for so long, and when you've got friends that are consistent when playing these sorts of games, kind of puts a downer on things. But also I did have, IRL shit, other games that I was invested in, RPG games like you mentioned before, usually my forte. But just this game is like that itch you can't scratch, so you just got to keep scratching it.
That's fair. That's fair. Especially the ending. I'm pretty sure a lot of people can kind of agree with, like, yo, it has that. You just want to play it for some fucking reason. You just can't stop. Why did you think you was done with FPS games before playing the finals? And has finals changed your opinion on the FPS genre at all?
A lot of it was the last frequent game that I played would have been a mix between Apex and Destiny 2. As you know yourself, I've got probably about 6,000 to 10,000 hours across both D1 and D2. Obviously I've got a mix of COD in there, not too much, and Apex, which obviously with yourself I play quite a lot, a number of friends. I stopped D2 due to one of them being Invis and all the cheese, for lack of a better term, that was in the game. You couldn't really get into a gunfight. It was wombo combos. It was melee in to fucking Jim Africa and back. There was just no gunfights. It just wasn't. It wasn't fun. No matter what sort of game you play, when you play FPS, you do have that competitive spirit, so to speak. I kind of lost that because I felt like I was getting more, speaking Destiny 2 specifically, I was getting more aggravated within myself, game, the state it was getting into, so it was just easier to up and leave it. So then I sort of went over to Apex, had a bunch of fun in that. Can't really give you a reason why I stopped playing that. I don't know. I think it might have been a lack of people. And I'm not one to play on my own as much as I would play with friends. Call it that, you can have a laugh, chill, have some fun, whilst, guns go It's on your own, it lives as that fun. You get all the shits and giggles when you're with your mates. This one, I think I mentioned to you previously, I don't know what it is, even if I'm playing bad, I'm still having fun. I don't know why that is, I don't know how that is, I didn't think that would even be a possibility for me again, but yeah, I just enjoy it. If I go off, obviously it's even better, but even I could do absolutely like a donut 3 games in a row. I'm not finding myself getting nowhere near as, I still get annoyed, but I'm not getting as aggravated or anything as before. And I'll just take the piss out of myself now. I think that 3-letter word is the main thing that will probably keep players coming back to this game, is fun.
Hell yeah. We spoke about this before too, like you said, I definitely feel that. It's even when I do bad, I'm not hating my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that was a bad game, but there was still aspects that made it fun, so it's it's fine, it's whatever. And opposed to sound like Destiny was older people of the channel would know this is a Destiny channel, so I enjoyed Destiny. I quite enjoyed it. But you know, Destiny does have those little aspects that kind of make it a little frustrating here and there. For people that know, you know, Obelisk existed when it, you know, when it first came out. You know, that was a time. Or laser tag with Prometheus lens.
And then you've got the addition of bows. That didn't have, like, there was no. I don't know if I mentioned it previously, but you didn't get gunfights. You didn't get no. Granted, you're not going to get 1v1s all the time, but there was none of that. I don't know what it is. I think it may be the fact that it's only threes.
I think it's just the gunfights, like you said. People want gunfights, and in games like Destiny, it became more and more ability based, and you know that's not everyone's forte. Same thing with Apex. As seasons went on, people was complaining that more and more fights was being determined by the abilities portion, not so much the gunfights portion. Obviously, Apex is a little bit different. It's battle royale with, like, you know, abilities and stuff, so not exactly the same kind of thing. But people, that still was a complaint in that community as well. It was like getting more abilities.
Even then, like, you get that satisfaction. You 1v3 or 1v4 or whatever in Apex, you get that satisfaction. D2, I could 1v5 and I'd be like, eh. You know what I mean? And then 2 seconds later, because I've just 1v5, you get some Randy that's sitting invis in a corner who hasn't taken his eye out of his scope for the past 2 minutes watching me 1v5, and then he just hits me in my toe around the wall and I'm dead. So that just negates that whole 1v5 or, you know, whatever that you've just done, and it's just, you forget about that and you just instantly, well, I'm around the wall. It just, yeah. Even talking about Destiny annoying me.
Well, before you get too annoyed, let's move on to the next question. As a newer player, what are some issues you have with the game currently? This could also include Invis, as I know you really don't like it.
Are we talking just in general?
Yep.
Personal issues, game issues?
All of it, honestly. Whatever issues you have with the game. Whether that's like your own personal issues, whether that's the game itself, whether that's like mechanics, gameplay mechanics, anything.
Okay. Well, what was it? The game I was in yesterday, where there was a hole and it wasn't a hole. That's it's just that I know obviously they're fixing that. But yeah, that can be slightly annoying. Although myself, I've not come across it too much. But when it happens, I kind of laugh about it more often than not.
It's funny. It's funny.
Yeah, I'd probably say Invis would be my biggest pet peeve right now. Obviously, I know when you're in it, if you're sniping, for example, they do have that glint, which is cool. But I do feel it maybe lasts a little bit too long. I mean, I don't know the specifics on timers, whether all Invis is the same, i.e. Vanishing Bomb and your cloaking device. I do like the fact that, i.e. for the loadout I've got now, for example, because I'm just looking at it, the moment I draw my bow, my invis will disappear. I do like that. I do like that aspect. Though it's not like really overpowered, so to speak. Some of it's just down to my eyes. I'll quite happily admit that. I just bypass it. But I mean, some of the games that I've seen you play, for example, you knew I was going to come back to you on this. You could literally jump over a wall, sit in that corner after going invis, even though you've heard that invis. People still run past you. People still don't know where you are because you are not moving. That I feel like. Do you know how long the timers are?
Invis currently lasts around 24 seconds, 24, 25, 26, 27.
Yeah, see, I feel that's maybe a little bit too long.
This season it actually got, when this season launched, it got buffed for some reason, where it lasted about a minute and 30, but then they reverted it to, then they nuffed it down to about 24, 25, 27 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, if, for example, you are just standing there, you feel like there needs to be some sort of, when you're running, and you're invis, people can still see you. Because obviously it gives you that little, almost like a reflective glare on your body. Maybe if you're standing still every 5 seconds, or something like that. I don't know, that glare happens, or, Because I know in one of your recent videos, like I was stood in vision, obviously you went behind the wall, and it sort of like flashed whatever colour I was. Maybe if they added something like that into it, I would be opposed to that. Obviously, that's just neither here nor there. But other than that, you've got Cerberus. That gun is the bane of my existence. Do not like it, cannot stand it, also can't use it. So that's probably a part of the problem. But shotguns, I feel, need dumbing down. Model, on the other hand, I feel like they have done that one dirty. They've sort of like taken it out of the game
Model
to
used to be
maybe
king.
make the other ones used more. I don't know, but the DB, that I don't really see a problem with, unless you pair it with Invis, then it is a problem. Antimatter, no opinions on that one. I feel like that one's probably in a good place. From what I've seen of it, can't comment too much. But Cerberus is just no bueno. Maybe take the tick down or the damage per pellet, I don't know. But that's just, it's stupid. Considering I play heavy most of the time as well. Don't think I have any issues other than that. Maybe I'd like to see a few more weapons put into the game, but I know they'll do that in time.
Every season we get some new weapons, but that's fair. That sounds like it's mostly just like gameplay related issues, like, you know, not a big fan of like Subby and Subby doing Subby things currently, or like
It's mainly
Invis
Survey.
being like Invis and just
Yeah, it's Invis and Survey. That I don't have any major gameplay issues. The rest, do you know what I mean? You're gonna come across some snags in the game. But it's not like a deal breaker, so to speak. Cause I know for a fact that Invis will put a lot of people off playing this game. And that shotgun, for example. That's an instant off put for many people, I could probably guarantee that.
Yeah, these are fair. That's fair. I think I don't know if I said this in a recent video or something, but I know Invis isn't something most people really want to have in their FPS games.
No.
So I'm pretty. I think I obviously use Invis. I think it's alright, but I could definitely see the other side of being like, yeah, that's pretty annoying. Yeah, that's kind of stupid. I get it.
I mean, it's not the Invis itself, it's the length of time and the literal fact you cannot see said person if they are stood still. And you could be inside them and you wouldn't even notice. I'm pretty sure in a video I've seen someone near enough mantle you still didn't know you were there. So yeah.
But no, these are fair. These are fair concerns. I respect it.
The game itself, I've got there isn't like no mechanics or anything like that. Maybe the mantle's a bit sus sometimes, but I don't know any game that I've played where the mantle isn't sus sometimes.
That's pretty good though. That is just like kind of like just generic. Well, I won't say generic, but like it's good that the main issues that you have is just like one particular like class essentially having like the ability to invis for a certain duration and maybe certain like shotties. I feel like that's a pretty decent problem to have in a game like this, so that's good.
Yeah, it's not like lights themselves, no issues. It's just that one thing on the light and the one thing on medium.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But like overall, no issues other than that, I wouldn't say.
Question 4. As a newer player, I have seen a number of complaints, mostly on like the Reddit and a couple of Twitter threads here and there, complaining about how long it takes to unlock weapons and gadgets. How do you feel about how long it takes?
I'm trying to think of a better way to put this. Part of it will be a skill issue. Because when I first played this game, it took me absolutely ages to unlock stuff. But then when I adapted more, and I could actually, I found my thumbs and I could shoot straight, maybe an hour session, I'd be unlocking 1 or 2 items, whether it be a weapon, gadget or anything. Because now when I'm playing, I'd probably say for the first, I'm not sure how long I've been playing this time round, but I'd say for the first week, I'd be lucky if I unlocked something every 2-3 days. Now I'm practically unlocking a couple of things every session, and that's maybe a 2-3 hours I'm unlocking a couple of things here and there. So part of it probably might be a skill issue, because we did a little thingy a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, where like it literally would differ. Obviously, if you're more tour where you place your performance in game, don't take that as gospel, because not actually ran the proper numbers for it. I'm sure there's something somewhere that will probably tell you, but that, for me, I felt like that was definitely a skill issue. But yeah, they could do with dumbing that down a bit, especially considering some of the better weapons are probably the more expensive ones, which will end up taking you time to unlock. Granted, I still haven't unlocked everything. That's because I've been, playing around the field a bit, seeing which weapons I like, which I don't. I'd probably say just double down on that, find your thumbs, and when you've seen improvement in your play, you'll probably see a bit, not a massive amount, but a bit of improvement in being able to unlock stuff. But yeah, maybe they could probably up it a little bit. Maybe like because I'm sure they can see if it's a new account or not.
Probably, yeah.
Give you a percentage bonus. Obviously, you do get, I think, a percentage bonus when you're playing in a group anyway, and a club. So possibly, I don't know if that affects it. Couldn't tell you on that.
That could be interesting. Kind of like a new player, like experience buff for like a week or something. Well, maybe not
Like when you
experience, but
play
like
gacha
VR
games,
game or
you
something.
get like every time you log in, you get X amount of in-game currency, so to speak. Maybe they could do something along the lines of that. Whether they will or not is completely different, buddy. But yeah, like I say, couldn't think of a better way to put that. Because I said that to you myself. I feel like it was definitely a skill issue, but a part of it, and the other part of it is it can take a bit longer than you want. But yeah, just definitely double down on that and just carry on with it. Because then when you get the other weapons, you'll see the game does become a lot more fun.
Yeah, as you get more and more sheets, you get to like actually have a build.
And yeah, and on some of the weapons, for example, some of them, you put a sight on some of them and you'll notice a complete difference. Or take the sight off, so whichever you want to do.
Definitely fair. I like the idea of like a new player like VRS like bonus kind of thing. I like that idea. I feel like that actually would fix some of the some people's problems with like how much you gain, because obviously if you're new, you'll be playing a little bit more probably, so you get more, and that'd be a more of an incentive to play more, because you have that bonus and you want to take advantage of it. I can see that. I can see them maybe doing something like that. That's actually, I feel like that's a good idea. But
just more of like a incentive for newer players to stick at it.
Yeah.
But like I say, that was one of the reasons why I ended up dipping originally, amongst obviously, like I said, other shit.
Question 5. We touched on this a little bit already, like about a question or two ago. So I see players complain about lights ruining the experience for new players. What's your thoughts on lights in the finals? And how do you feel? And do you feel like they are ruining the experience for you?
Again, some of that will be because they don't know how to deal with lights. Not in all situations, because I know for a fact that's what it was like for me, and still is, i.e. with Invis. But as to say they are ruining lights, that would be, a lot of it would probably be a coincidence, because a lot of people want to play light because they're quick, agile, they've got the like I played on a lot of other games, they've got the most, not movement based, but you've got your evasive dash, you've got your grapple hook. I'm purposely leaving that invis there because it's not what I'm getting at, but they can get around the map a lot quicker than say a heavy. If you've ever seen a heavy trying to chase a light, it's hilarious because they ain't catching them. It's as simple as that. Like when we're playing and I'm a heavy, I'm like, yo, wait for me. Yeah, some of that's just adapting, learning how to basically kill them. Winch Claw's good for that. Yeah, they're not ruining the game. It's just you're gonna get people choosing lights because they've probably got the more appealing gadgets, guns, and specializations than say heavy. I mean, charge and slam. Yeah, it's kind of fun, but you got a shield, claw, gill gun, but you're not gonna get some of them until you've unlocked them. So as a starter, you're gonna see a lot more lights than any of the others. So coincidence and learning to deal with them.
I like that. I like that answer. That's probably close to what I would what my opinion will be on it. It's like I don't think
Don't get me wrong.
lights.
Don't get me wrong. I fucking hate lights sometimes.
Like I don't
But
think
then I can
lights
also-
is that like I get it, they can be oppressive, right? But so can a medium, so can a good heavy. Like they all can be very oppressive, very annoying to deal with. But I do kind of agree with you. It's like I feel like lights do have a more appealing, fun-looking kit, so more people want to play that class anyway, rather than playing with grapple or playing with dash. They want to play with these two specializations a lot, invis, and then using stuff like the DB or using basically any other weapon. Like these weapons are also appealing because they kill really quick. Like
I mean, look at the M11. M11?
M11, nice.
Thank
M11,
you. Yeah.
nice.
Look at the M11. Look at the lemon. We're going to call it that lemon from now on. Look at the M11. The TTK on that's ridiculous. Even against the heavy, you know. So a lot of people's playstyles are different. Some people go in, some people sit back. And when them two clash, the ones that go in a lot of the time are going to win. Hence, pick the lights.
I always say it too. It's like lights counter heavy, heavy counter light. So if you're heavy and you're dying a lot to a light, makes sense. If you're light, you die a lot to a heavy, makes sense. they kind of hate each other, so it's fair.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a medium. Ooh. Medium's kind of like in the middle. They don't, you know.
Medium's just like, what about me, guys?
Medium's just still living their best life. But
yeah.
Question says, what do you think the founders can do to attract more people to the game? I know people has been talking about player numbers recently, and like we don't get enough new players and all that jazz. What do you think they could do to maybe attract new players like yourself?
Well, obviously we spoke about the introduction for newer players. More community events. People see that, I don't know, that obviously it'd be more a long-term thing than like a quick short-term get more people in. But like, you know, yourself and those that do these things maybe in other games, and obviously I know they do little tournaments and stuff like that, so they are getting their name out there. It's just that, I mean, in marketing wise, I don't really see much of them around. You know, it's like COD, that'll be on an advert in about 20 minutes. Destiny 2, I mean, they've gone free to play because a lot of people, I can guarantee a lot of people from Destiny, as we know, have come over and started to play finals because, like I said before, it scratches that itch. So that's one thing that also would help this out. One, it's free to play. Yeah, fair enough, they've got microtransactions, but what game don't nowadays? That's just the way it is. But they could probably do more in terms of marketing, personally, because like I say, I don't see it often. I know, obviously, like, I don't know whether it would, I know like some gacha games, you know, if you like and share a post on some, you can win X amount of in-game currency, maybe they could do that. I know it's worked on some other things, because I know a lot of content creators do that sort of thing. Or like free, obviously for them it would be different, they get like free games and, you know, they like and follow or whatever, and you can win a copy of this game. They need to get themselves out there more. I don't really know what else they could do other than purely marketing.
That's honestly probably fair. Like I didn't even know. Actually, no. If I say that, I did know the game had a beta. Maybe it was an alpha, whichever one it was. I know they had alpha too, but I know they had one of them too that was an open beta or alpha. But I only seen or heard about it like literally like the day that it was about to end. So, and then leading up to it, I didn't hear anything about this game until it actually came out, and I saw it from a friend on Twitter that was playing it, and I was just like, oh, the game's out, let me give it to that. Like, I just didn't see anything about this game previously, so I think that's fair.
And stuff, they could do with highlighting the ones that are very community focused, because then it'll bring more people in, even if it's just a like and a share. Do you know what I mean? Get that algorithm going, do what they need to do. Yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna throw in Warframe here, for example. I've not played that game since 1982, and I still see adverts around socials. I even see it in the game, the PSN store. I don't see finals unless I look it up. Yeah, I play finals. How does that work?
Yeah, they have gotten a little better with some advertising on like Twitter and stuff. Like sometimes I log into Twitter or Blue Sky and I might see they share something or they're teasing something or whatever the case. But typically it's like close to the new season or around the end of a season when they're showcasing these things, I do think I probably would agree with you. I think they can do a little bit better in the marketing department, but maybe
I
season
mean, don't
6.
get me wrong, the Discord, I do see stuff in there quite regularly. I mean, granted, I am in the Discord, but I didn't know they had a Discord until you invited me. And obviously, I don't use Discord that often either. But my point is, if I don't know it, granted, I'm playing it, other people aren't going to know it that aren't playing it.
Yeah, unless they, have a friend that's like, hey, this game's cool.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I think they've got enough player base now to not rely on friends or friends of friends.
Question 7. Do you watch any finals content on YouTube, Twitch? Do you watch any?
Yes, I do actually, surprisingly. Obviously, I did watch yours initially. A bit bad if I didn't. Yeah,
by the way,
everyone's
if you're
but
watching
yours.
this, you should subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe goes a long way. There you go. Yes, couldn't tell you the names, but it's in my algorithm, and it pops up every now and again. And I'll watch a couple of yours, and then like shorts and stuff like that, and then theirs will come up. Because I admit, like I said to you before, I'm more one for shorts because time and I have the attention span of a gnat. But yeah, just the odd videos that maybe could help me improve. I think we've gone over a few things between us, and then obviously I've just gone and searched, how to aim better with a FAMAS or something like that. Something random like that, just to see if there's anything, whether it's me that's being a turd, or if doing something wrong that I probably shouldn't be. Do you know what I mean? It's just little things like that, or I'll watch a little bit of gameplay on it. I was watching some earlier actually. It was just what we call a fairly decent clover. Going, taking one or two teams out with the FAMAS or something like that. To show that, you can do it, or I personally prefer the funniest side of it. Because I don't think there's been a single day, and again, this is what I was saying to you before, where it's the fun that will keep me coming back to this game, and then it makes me want to improve. There's not been a day where we've not had one of me or you or Link or Dalvon, where one of us is in absolute stitches over something random that happened, as you would call it, shenanigans.
Shit always happens in this game. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's only been fairly recently, but yes, I have.
Sounds like you're more the favorite of the guide style, or the funnies and the comedic section, the finals YouTube realm. So that's groovy. Question 8. What are your current favorite things to use in the game? A little more light-hearted one, What's your favorite stuff to use? What you enjoying right now?
Winch claw. And like I was saying earlier about lights, when they try and get away and they're not going anywhere, and then they just all come at you arms flailing, no, not me, I didn't do it. The R357, just because I like hand cannons, handguns, pistols, whatever the hell you want to call them. Don't know, just like them. So that I'd go for the Kimbo as well, the Deegs, good old Deegs. I'm still currently in the learning phase, so to speak. So I'm going through some of the weapons, just trying to get a feel for them. The bow's fun as well. I like that. Bow is fun. And you might not like it, but I like pyro grenades. The one thing I do like about this game though is I know obviously Battlefield had it, but it felt too much like a COD game, if that makes sense. And Battlefield was on a massive map, and I couldn't be running to Jamaica to go kill someone. The buildings, I love the fact that just everything blows up. What more could you want?
I don't feel like going to the roof. I'm just gonna bring it down.
Exactly. Stairs? Nah, we don't do stairs in this house.
That's fair. That is fair. But hey, in Battlefield you had helicopters. You could just fly around or something.
Yeah, grapple hook, jump pad, zip line,
They should add helicopters to this game. Anyway, move to
Bro, no.
Question number 9. So you actually touched on this earlier. Some games feel like you need to be playing with friends in order to have fun. Do you think you can play Final solo and still have fun? Or have you played solo and still had fun?
I could solo, and I probably would have fun. But I'd also have to remember that you've got blueberries.
Good old blueberries.
Which again, we'll probably touch on the whole more lights than anything else, or lights are running the game. Because if you're solo, you're not going to rely on your teammates. So you're going to pick light so you can get in and get out without dying as much as possible. I probably wouldn't have as much fun, because let's face it, it's always more fun when you're with your mates. That's just the way it is. But solo, you can still have fun. You've just got to give the game a chance. I think that's what a lot of it is. Just give it a chance. Stick with it. Crack on with it. And you'll find a groove.
And I couldn't say it better myself. Last but not least, question 10. Would you consider yourself a casual or a competitive gamer? Mixed of both? Which do you lean more into? Which one do you think you are? Casual, competitive? What do you think?
I'd probably say a mix of both. If I had more time, I would lean a lot more into competitive player. That is probably the difference. Because, IRL, work a lot. Only have a chance to game for a few hours a day. If that. And that's that push, you know what I mean? So, family, work, just general day-to-day life doesn't allow me to be. But I can still be, if you know what I mean. Like, if we're talking this game kind of allows me to be competitive, even if I'm only getting on for an hour. So I've noticed, like, not all the time, but when I get on, sometimes you just sort of like, you lock in, and then you do that competitiveness just does come out of you. Now, if we're just chilling in cash out or whatever, then I'm just a casual because we're messing, you know what I mean, we're messing around.
Quick cash.
I've just got the image of cash out in my head, literally right on the screen right now, like, in my head. That's why I said cash out. But yeah.
That's groovy though. That's groovy that at least I think that's like the good thing about this game, personally. It's like you're able to, I feel like it has a good mixture of like casual and competitive. I feel like it has a good balance there. Like if you want to be just casual, you can. If you want to be competitive, you can. You want to do both, you can. I feel like that's like one of the real things that it has going for it.
That's why, like, I just want to say, in terms of like what you can play, like you got your quick cash and all that, your quick play, per se. But your casual, your world tour, if you want to push into that, because we touched on this like the other day, well, whenever it was when we were talking about it, to get you into that. Could I take this a bit more competitively? Do I want to? You step into world tour, and it gives you that sort of like layout of it. And if you think, yeah, I'm down for this, go around. So it's almost like a 3-tier. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So depending on what mood you're in, and even if you come in, you have one game of quick cash, you want to go straight into rank. Do you know what I mean? You can go for it. Like you're not exactly going to get penalised or anything for trying these things out. I think that's a lot of people don't want to step out of their comfort zone now. Obviously, like for me before, I didn't want to go into World Tour because obviously I didn't know the ins and outs of it. I wanted to find my thumbs first, and that's, from personal experience, that's okay.
Yeah, it's like World Tour. How I say? I think I was like World Tour is basically quick cash, but with extra steps. It's basically quick play, both extra steps, or like it's like a casuals ranked. It's like it's essentially ranked, but you don't lose rank for nothing, and there's no like intense matchmaking process.
But yeah, it is for those that don't necessarily want to play solo, and I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of people out there that don't want to play it, because I was the same with certain games. YouTube, for example, this video, do you know what I mean? There's going to be Discords out there where people do these community events, or they do link up with other people. I'm sure people can find these groups that will quite happily just play with people. You just gotta have a look at who's around. That's
also the big thing too. Peeps gotta come out of that comfort zone, like you said, and like utilize them tools that's out there, especially in the finals Discord. There's an LFG. By the way, I'm not sponsored. Just want to make sure I'm not sponsored. There's an LFG in the Discord that they have where you can find people. In our own Discord, we don't really have a LFG yet, but like if people want to join Discord, you know, you can do that. And like, you know, I wouldn't be opposed to us having an LFG, you know. Yeah, humble plug.
Well, I mean, put it this way: you know, you're 5 hours behind me. I'm in the UK. Do you know what I mean? We still play together, like even with the others. We know we still link up.
Yeah.
There's always, like, even just between us four, there is always someone on. Maybe not from certain parts of the day, but later on in the evening, well, not even in the evening, like late afternoon to evening time, there's always somebody on.
Yeah, probably around like 4 a.m. EST to like maybe 10 a.m. EST. You probably won't find no one on. You might be around, but then I think you'll typically also still like at work or still getting settled around those times. That's probably the only time we don't have someone on.
Yeah. But like even with how little we are, for example, someone will always pretty much talk in the Discord, or you know, we'll try and set things up if we can, or if we're able to. Do you know what I mean? For communication-wise, for the small group, it works.
Yep.
And I'm sure, again, there are, you know, others do the same. Yeah, so I was just going to say, you were obviously saying about the comfort zone. It was the same for me. Like, and I'm still playing. Do you know what I mean? I've not got off this game the past, this season. Obviously, I had other bits going on. But then I came back out my comfort zone because I wasn't ready for FPS games again. And I told you as much. I'm like, don't know if I'm going to be bothered with it again because of obviously how it was before, the other ones that I played, yada yada yada. But then I took the plunge and I didn't full send. Played maybe a couple of hours, and then those couple of hours turned into every day.
You was like, fuck it. I will humor him. I will at least try it. I'm not gonna like it, but I'll try it. 3 months later. But yeah. So if this helped any new player out there, hey, give it a try, you know? Give it a try. Hopefully this gives you the encouragement to just like go for it. But that's all I got for this little questionnaire, if you will. The gracias for be willing. Nice. I'm really good at English, by the way. Gracias for coming and being willing to answer these lovely questions.
No problem.
And yeah, without further ado, we bid you adieu. Take care and peace. Bye bye. I meant to include this at the end of the questions, but here we are. I forgot. If you have any questions for Karl or any feedback that you want to give me for this kind of video, how we can improve it or anything like that, be sure to leave it in the comments below. And we'll see to answering any and all questions that you guys may have for whomever watches this video. Thanks for watching, and as always, take care and peace. And now properly, bye bye.